Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we getting back into? We are getting into Love Island series 11. We are now on episode 7. Yes, I have caught myself up and oh my god, what an episode we have to really talk about. Like seriously, I don't know what's happening with these women and I definitely don't know what's happening with these men. Two in particular, Ayo and Ronnie, they're looking for a serious death wish up in this place, man. Like seriously, the games that them two are playing, boy sir. But let me tell you first, there's a reason why me like Mimi and there is a reason why I like Jess. Yes, Jess is playing the long game with this man at the moment, but there's a reason why I like her, and there's a reason why as well I'm getting more and more red flags when it comes to Sam. Anyway, before we get into this episode, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so when you know I'm on and doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do all the good stuff that you do, because I am on the road to 1k, you've guessed it. All I'm gonna say is Ayo played his ass and he's in his hands, man, and Ronnie is rubbing up to be the true geezer that he is. He's showing his true geezer trait in terms of who can be goosey-loosey with him first at the end of the day, and that's what he's getting from Harriet. Yeah, I said the balloon there continues, so Omar decides to pick Mimi, and it said Snog the Islander, he believes he's a game player. I mean, dude is just come in, so he ain't gonna have a clear idea about who these people are. So he ends up kissing Nicole. Not that he thought that she was a game player, but he ends up kissing her because it was a safe play at the end of the day. Sam, I think, kind of made a joke that Omar should have kissed Harriet. Harriet not like that. Sam was saying it was a joke, darling, get a grip. I'm telling you, the backbiting with these fuckers, these girls don't like each other in the slightest at all. If they can literally either do a small aggression towards the other woman or stab them in their back, they'll do it. They'll do it. But my thing is, Harriet and Sam are two peas in a pod when it comes to this. 2 peas in a pod, and I'll tell you for why as I go on. So someone ended up picking Sean with this balloon game. So all I saw in the next bit was Joey went to go kiss Jess, and Jess rebuked him. She was like, I rebuke you in the name of the Lord. Don't cross this threshold. It is not going to be done. And she says, nah, Sam's my girl, I ain't gonna do that. Sam was livid. Sam was hella pissed. Jerry sat down with his head in his hands like, oh, and then he's like, it's just a game. And I'm like, and that's what you all fail to realise. To some people, it ain't just a game. When these challenges happen, they know what the fuck they're doing them for. It ain't just a game to some of these people. The questions that are being asked are purposefully being asked of you. Yeah, so when you're picking who he is, don't forget you've known people from the start. So when you're picking who he is, that you're gonna correlate that the answer to the question too. Best believe these people ain't thinking this shit is a game. They're taking it hella seriously. Hella seriously. All I know is Sam's gonna get in Joey's ass later, and Joey knows it at the end of the day. So Mimi at all was not impressed with the way Ayo conducted himself, because my man went and kissed Uma when he said, who would be your type on paper? Bearing in mind, Ayo, yeah, the little ass rank, has been saying to Mimi and to the geezers, them, that if he had to choose at the recoupling, he had his speech written for Mimi. He was going to overlook Uma for Mimi. So for him to turn around and then kiss Uma, saying, who is your best fit on paper? Are you taking the piss, my guy? Are you okay, my guy? Do you need help? Do you know what I mean? Because it seems as though Uma's got this boy in some kind of chokehold. At the end of the day, Ayo is not pitching himself as an honest to goodness person that I first thought he was when he first came in. He's literally showing his ass right now, and this is what I mean. People can only keep up an act for so long, and this is the same with Ayo. He can only keep up an act for so long before you start showing your true colours up in this place. So Uma takes Ayo for a chat and basically tells him that she knows that he was doing things with good intentions. No, he wasn't. He wasn't, Uma. He wasn't doing it with good intentions. I'm telling you, he's playing Uma and Ayo off against each other. But they're too clever to be wrapped up in that bullshit, because they're the type of girls that will call that behaviour out and they ain't going to get involved with it. So if that's the game that Ayo's playing, he's playing it with the wrong women. He's playing it with the wrong women. So you could see when Ayo did kiss Uma in that challenge, that she felt very uncomfortable. She looked uncomfortable with that kiss, because at the end of the day, she don't want to play against Mimi that way, because she says that she sees Mimi as a friend. So he needs to be tried, tested and trued, basically, in regards to this scenario. So he's turned around and he says to Uma, whatever I say to Mimi in confidence, I can tell you the same thing. And I'm sat there thinking, my guy, I'm still waiting for you to tell Uma the truth, in the fact that you told Mimi that you would be picking her if Uma hadn't chose you. You'd wrote your speech and everything for Uma. I'm waiting for Ayo to say this to Uma. Do you think he does? My man don't say a peep. Like, he's playing real dumb for real. Like, he doesn't understand why this situation is happening to him right now. So basically, Uma is turning to him and said that for our first kiss, yeah, it needs to be something we both want. And she did explain to him that she felt uncomfortable because she didn't want Mimi to feel like a mug. And I'm kind of like, it's too late for that, Uma, because when Ayo did what he did, he made her feel like a brass mug sitting there like a damn fool, watching him kiss off your lips, knowing full well what he said to her. So you see Mimi having a quick chat with Patsy, basically, and you could tell that Mimi's not happy with how the situation went. But Mimi is one of these people, again, who doesn't want to share too much with the other girls, because Mimi is seeing how the other girls carry on with each other. She ain't into that bullshit in the slightest. So Ayo comes along to pick her up for a chat. She goes over with Ayo just because she didn't want to say what she had to say in front of Patsy, for Patsy to take it back to anybody else. So Mimi point blank told Ayo she was not in the mood for a chat. Ayo was understanding that, you know, oh, so you don't want to listen to what I've got to say. She explains to him, no, I am not in the mood. Then Ayo continues to supersede what she says, saying, I don't want to argue with you. And get that you don't want to have the convo, but you're still having a convo with her, mate. She's telling you she doesn't want to have this conversation with you, because at the end of the day, all Ayo was going to do was try and dump on her and make Mimi believe it was her fault in terms of what's going on. He was going to try and explain his way out of the fact that he picked Uma for that kiss, when in actuality he could have picked Mimi because of the things that he said to her, but he didn't. Mimi basically told him that she is trying to process her thoughts right now and she doesn't want to have this conversation. So Ayo takes that and leaves, and he's upset when he's leaving. And I'm kind of like, well, my guy, what did you expect? Did you think you could come and play her and then try and chat her around? Ain't gonna work like that, my friend. So you see Harriet basically go up to Joey, because basically I think Joey is Harriet's voice of reason when it comes to things that she's unsure about. Because to be fair, Joey may seem dim at times, but you know what, he does give good advice. He ain't stupid. People always tend to come to him to have a chat because they know that they can get the truth out of him, and he's kind of straightforward. So as you see, Jess and Patsy straight away get up and leave her to it. So Harriet's basically talking about how she doesn't want to hurt anyone, namely Jess. But for me, I think Harriet don't really care. I think in her speaking to Joey, she just wants someone to co-sign her bullshit and tell her she's doing the right thing at the end of the day in the way that she's going about things. So you see Ronnie walk over to them and pulls Harriet for another talk, and I'm just like, okay, so you know, Ronnie's making his intentions known from now. This man don't really give a shit. He's got his sights firmly set on Harriet. in terms of getting her where he wants to, but then he also wants to keep Jess there because he wants to continue getting to know Jess, because the differences between Harry and Jess are visible at the end of the day. Jess is a take no shit kind of girl, and she tells it likes it is and how she wants things to happen, whereas Harriet easily follows along and falls into the trap of, when these guys are saying nice things to her, she literally smiles. She isn't very straightforward like Jesse's in regards to that. She will literally take what they're saying and soak it in, especially if it's someone that she's interested in. She did the same thing with Kieran, and now she's doing the same thing with Ronnie. So you see that Jess is not happy by this little development, and it gets even worse when this man decides to go and speak to this gal in the hideaway. Are you taking the living Michael right now? Like, seriously, is Ronnie not thinking with his head at all? Which, judging by his actions, I really don't think he is. Like, seriously, and this is why I keep telling you that Ronnie is a geezer. Ronnie loves to play the streets. Like, seriously, he loves to play up and down on the streets. I ain't no joke there. And the behaviour that he carried on with outside of the villa is the behaviour that is carrying on inside of the villa, and it doesn't click with him. He doesn't get it. He doesn't realise how wrong that looks. At the end of the day, when Jessa said they just had a conversation about how he needs to go forward when it comes to how he is with Harriet within that villa in front of her face. So basically, Jess preempted the fact that them two are going to kiss in there, and I think she was talking to Sam, and she was like, really, do you believe that? And she was like, yeah, them two are going to kiss in there, and if he does, that's it. And I was like, yeah, we'll see how far that goes, because at the end of the day, Jess is one of these people where she ain't going to lose. She don't want to lose, and she definitely ain't losing Ronnie to Harriet. At the end of the day, that fight starts now between them two. You watch this space, there'll be a major fight between them two for this man. They'll play dirty as well. They will definitely play dirty to get Ronnie. So as it transpires, Ronnie and Harriet are having this chat. You know, he's giving her the spiel, she's doing her little giggle, and guess what, they end up kissing each other. I was like, yeah, hella disrespectful there. But what gets me is Harriet was in the same boat not so long ago with Kieran and the Nicole debacle. She had the hellish time of being upset and having a go at Kieran at the end of the day, and yet she's doing the same rotted shit to Jess. How does that work? How does that work? And it's always Harriet in the mix-up, always Harriet in the drama, because you know what? She is the drama. She completely is the drama. And to be fair, they kissed a couple of times up in that place. It's like they didn't even want to leave, and Ronnie even made the comment about that maybe they should stay there. And Harriet goes, oh, that's taking it a bit too far, that may be a bit too bait. What was actually a bit too bait is that you two went into the freaking hideaway in the first place, and you weren't in there for a little 5-minute, 2-minute chat. Do you know what I mean? They were probably in there for a good while, so Jess knew what was up. So Ronnie was basically saying that he will have to tell Jess what happened. And I'm like, my guy, Jess already has a flipping inkling already. The intuition kicked in, thinking that you two were going to kiss. And if you did, she's saying that's that. Yeah. Ain't looking good for them two. So as soon as Ronnie brings his ass out of that place, Jess pulls that guy before he has a chance to sit down and cool his heels with anybody. Harriet's looking like, oh shit. And I'm like, yeah, because you know what you started. And all of them are like, Ross. So as she's walking off with Ronnie now, she turns around to him and said, did you just kiss her? So he admits it. And Jess reads Ronnie the freaking riot act. And basically he turned around and said, at least it's coming from me. And I'm just like, and then he tried to give her this half-assed apology, and I was like, oh my guy, just stop. Like, seriously, just stop, because you know you've full on disrespected the girl that you said you want to continue to get to know. but it's how much Jess is going to take from Ronnie before she's like, you know what, hands up, fuck this shit, I ain't putting up with this shit. Because at the end of the day, Jess, I think as well, is one of those girls glutton for punishment. She will rear her mouth till the day is long, but she won't change her behaviour, in that she ain't going to try and look at somebody else to see if she can get with them. Right now, I kind of think she's going to use Sean as a little pawn in her game to make Ronnie feel like, you know what, I do have options, when in actuality I don't think she really likes Sean like that. But she needs to be careful doing that, because Sean likes her. Sean likes her, and already Harriet has fucked Sean off, to be fair. I'm just like, at that point, Ronnie and Harriet had no leg to stand on. What both of them did was kind of grimy. And Harriet was sitting there smizing. And I'm like, she didn't realise that what she just did was worse to what Kieran did to her. Do you know what I mean? To what she did to Jess. So Ronnie said to her that he had a kiss with Harriet, but he wasn't closing off anything. But Jess was there basically saying that they'd had an agreement that he will come and say to her if he wants to kiss Harriet, and he didn't. I'm just like, you know what? I don't understand what planet these people are from, that they can literally control the actions of another person. Like, I've seen it in the episodes previously and in this one, and when I get to the other one, more so in that one, like, tell a person who they should talk to, tell a person how close they should get to that person, come talk to me if you want to kiss them or if you want to take things further. No, I can give you a heads up, but that doesn't mean you can tell me if I can kiss that person or not. Nah, man, if I'ma do me at the end of the day. And I think that's how Ronnie will see it. He's gonna do him at the end of the day. He is there in his mind, or in all of their minds, looking for love, looking for some type of long-term relationship. So they ain't gonna put all their eggs in one basket with one person. Not everybody is going to get it right at the end of the day. Everybody is gonna fall flat on their face in regards to how they're trying to prejudge and decide what it is that they need to do in order to move along with any one person. But it is going to come to a point where you're going to have to make your choice. You're going to have to pick one or the other, because you can't have both of them. Anyway, so Jess kind of storms off. Like, Jess was raging. Harriet, you see her sitting there, and she's sitting there saying, oh, I didn't know what was going to happen. I'm like, come on, man, all actions have consequences at the end of the day. You knew if you went off with him and you kissed him, and Jess found out that you kissed him, knowing how Jess is when it comes to Ronnie, you know what was going to happen, because Jess don't stand for that rubbish. She really don't. She is a very reactive person, is Jess, and she was going to react to that situation. Jess basically turned around and called Harriet desperate. I was just like, oh. The one thing I didn't understand though is you could hear Jess raging in the changing room with some of the other girls, yeah. I don't understand why Harriet then took it upon herself to go walk into the melee of that, knowing full well that Jess is not going to be in the right frame of mind to listen to your bullshit at the end of the day. She ain't going to want to hear, oh, I'm sorry, or this, that, and the other. She ain't gonna want to hear that. She's raging right now, and she's gonna come gunning for everybody, which is what she did. Yes, she tried to say to Harriet, like, you know, I don't blame you, because your loyalty ain't to me, it's him that I blame. His loyalty is to me at the end of the day, so I don't blame you in any way, shape or form. But Jess was still coming for the jugular, to the point where Harriet was going whoa, 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 and trying to bring it back around. And I was just kind of like, at that point, this is a major double standard, because actually it takes two to tango, not one. It takes two. And Harriet was very much in that with Ronnie, as Ronnie was in it with Harriet. So to be fair, Harriet had some loyalty towards Jess, because at the end of the day, Jess managed to find constraint in not to let Joey kiss her in that challenge, because she was friends with Sam. Now, if Harriet was any friend to Jess, or any type of girl's girl, she would have said to Ronnie, do you know what? I'm not going to go down that road. I really like you, yeah, but while we're in this kind of situation with Jess as well, I ain't going to further disrespect her at the end of the day. So I don't think us two should be kissing like that. I really, really want to kiss you, but that's where I'm at, and played it like that. But Harriet was not going to do that. She saw exactly what she wanted and she went for it. So I'm sorry, Harriet is much to blame as Ronnie is to blame. I don't think you can take the blame away from one to the other. But even though Jess was trying to say that it wasn't Harriet, Jess probably somewhere little nugget in her brain still was not happy with the fact that Harriet kissed her, and kind of had some bones to pick with Harriet, because when Harriet turned around and said, I have got loyalties to you, Jess fired back to her, telling her no, otherwise you wouldn't have kissed him. I mean, at this point, I was like, Harriet, just leave the room. Like, seriously, leave the room, because she is not in the frame of mind to listen to you and your gaff at the end of the day. And Jess kept on telling her, at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's about me and my feelings and what I have to do to process them. So I was just like, you know what? Yeah. So Ronnie that night slept outside to give Jess some space. Sean basically said he ain't feeling Harriet either at the end of the day, because he knows exactly where her bread is being buttered. Mimi then decided that Omar will get her time and not Ayo. Oh, the tables turned from that. Let's just put it that way. The tables turned from that. Joey is there consoling Harriet and basically saying that it's not her fault because my guy was gunning for it at the end of the day. I was just kind of like, these people have to be real, because it's as much Harriet's fault as it is Ronnie's fault at the end of the day. They both wanted it. It takes two. So you can't sit there and blame one person and not the other person for how that situation came about. They both had an action and they both should have reaped the consequence of it. I was just like, yeah. She says Harriet complains and says, everyone says, go explore. Go do this, go do that. And then when you do, all guns come blazing. I said, yeah, kind of what you did with Kieran. Kind of what you did with Kieran when it came to Nicole. So Harriet has no space to chat when it comes to shit like that. Has no space to chat. I says, these people become invested too damn quick. I'm just like, be a Mimi in this scenario. Do your play in silence. Don't tell nobody what it is that you're thinking of and what you are going to do, because when it comes to these people, you can't trust them. There's some that you probably could build a relationship and trust, but majority of them girls in there, I wouldn't trust not a being of them. So then it moves on and you see Jess pull Harriet for a chat, basically to clear the air with her. So Jess explained that what she felt, it wasn't about Harriet. It was about Ronnie and his actions, and again placating to Harriet's every woman. This is why this girl is going to keep coming under the floorboards to take your men, because seriously, you keep giving this girl a bly when she is the rotted drama. She knows exactly what she's doing and she knows exactly what game she's playing, does Harriet. You see Sam basically talking to Ronnie about the situation, and they're just making a joke out of it. And Sam talks to Ronnie and says, well, what are you going to do if another bombshell comes in here and she's your type to a T? And he was like, oh my God, like he couldn't cope with that information. And I'm thinking that's all that needs to happen. That's all that needs to happen for Ronnie to go running from either Harriet or from Jess at the end of the day. So she says to Ronnie that she believes that all the girls coming in will be gunning for Joey because, you know what, he's Joey Essex. And then she says that Joey's hers. I says, but he ain't yours though, my love. He ain't yours to have and to hold, because you two ain't locked that shit off at all at the end of the day. So Ronnie and Jess have a conversation, and basically Ronnie said he wants to be honest with Jess and he does want to spend time with her, but he also wants to get to know Harriet. And she's talking about, for her, it's actions speak louder than words, yeah. And basically Jess is saying to Ronnie, if you kiss her again before you make your mind up, it's a liberty. So Jess basically says that she won't be kissing him again. And I was like, okay, so that's how it's done, but guaranteed that girl will lip lock with that man again. no ifs, no buts, no maybes about it. That girl will lip lock with that man again, because you know what? Ronnie's able to weed and snake his way back into this girl's affections all the time. So you see Sam talking to Joey, and this is where I say the red flags with Sam is coming up for me in regards to how she sees Joey. So basically she's wanting Joey to name drop about the people, celebrities or whatever that he may know, and Joey isn't going to do that. Basically Joey called himself Dipsy, but he's earned money from it at the end of the day. I do, as I said, wonder if Sam likes Joey, the person, not the celebrity persona, because at the end of the day, that's where that conversation did happen with them, and I think he was trying to get her to understand that behind closed doors he's just Joey. That's all that he is, and all he wants is someone to accept him for being just Joey, not Joey flipping Essex at the end of the day. And this is where, as I said, my red flag comes in with Sam, because I really don't think she sees Joey the man at all. You can tell as well across as the day moves on that Mimi really does like AO, and it's very difficult for her at this time. I mean, Mimi's constantly watching what's happening with AO. She saw him holding hands with Uma, and she didn't like it at all. Like, she really doesn't like it at all. Nicole basically was advising her and saying that she doesn't believe that Mimi should shut herself down from AO, and basically she needs to go for what she wants. Sam basically starts complaining about how she feels something is off with Joey because he doesn't kiss her, he doesn't show her PDA or stuff like that. He cuddles but not a lot, and she's kind of thinking that it's weird, and I'm kind of like, well, why don't you go and kiss him? Like, seriously, why are you waiting for him to put the smack down on you? Why don't you go and kiss him? Or maybe Joey is one of those people that he doesn't want to be lip locking with you 24/7 all the time. He doesn't need that in order to show you that he likes you or to show his affection. Joey may show his affection in different ways. You just got to open that up and unlock it at the end of the day. So here goes Sam basically saying to Nicole, because of that, she doesn't know whether she is vibing with Joey. And Joey's basically one of these guys where I think you literally have to spell shit out for him or show him shit if he isn't going to understand it, because he doesn't understand the current situation of what's happening with Sam at all. So then, of course, you see Harriet and Joey having another chat with each other, and Joey is thinking that it's probably this little offbeat he's having with Sam is probably down to him always having chats with Harriet. And Harriet was basically saying, nah, that's not it. But if I tell you what it is, then please don't go and repeat that I've said this, because it was said in confidence in the girls' area. And he said, nah, you won't. And he tells she tells Joey exactly what Sam had said. And Sam was there sitting with the girl saying, I swear down, if Harriet tells Joey what I said about him not approaching her, kissing her or showing her that type of affection, then she will flip her lid. And I was like, you know what, it's too late for that. And at the end of the day, this is my thing with these people that don't communicate appropriately. If someone's doing something that is not meeting one of your needs to the point where you're questioning even being with them, then you need to talk to that person. You know what, they've got enough mouth for everybody else, yeah, but not enough mouth for the people that they're actually with. Like, seriously, not enough mouth for the people that they're with. So Joey and Sam do have that conversation, and again she starts going on with the, but you are Joey Essex, and I'm just like, why are you with this dude? Why are you with this dude? Because she is literally looking at the persona, the outer persona of who Joey Essex was, and matching it up to the Joey that's sitting in front of her now, and it's just not meeting. It's not meeting, because what she needs to realise that the persona we saw of Joey Essex when he first came on our screens was just that. It was a persona of him. I don't even think it was fully who Joey is. At the end of the day, this is how he was expected to behave. That's what he fed into. So some people need to calm the hell down off this man's back, like, seriously. You see Omar and Patsy, because Patsy made a beeline for Omar. Basically, Patsy was throwing all herself out there to this man and the kitchen sink. She made sure this man knew that she was interested in him. Omar not interested in Patsy in the slightest, and you can see it, but Patsy didn't mind that. She is a grafter at the end of the day. So you see Ayo goes over to Mimi, and you see Omar swivel to them straight away. So Ayo basically says that he doesn't feel that he's lied to Mimi, and that naturally being in the couple with Uma, he's getting to know the girl more. Mimi basically said that she's at a point where she's saying, let me take a step back and remove myself from that situation. She does tell him that, you know what, when I see you, all I want to do is hug you, all I want to do is chat to you, but she feels that it's awkward. He's telling her, no, keep doing that, but I'm like, no, why should she keep coming to Ayo? Because Ayo's not making no moves towards her in the slightest, which is unfair to Mimi at the end of the day. So that's why Mimi's sitting back and watching the shit play out. But Mimi needs to take something for herself now. Like, seriously, Mimi needs to start being selfish and thinking about herself at this point, because she's just going to let this man fly by with this woman. I mean, she just came in but a minute, and already she's taken the attention away from Mimi in regards to Ayo and all that encompasses too. So now we see Sean, and he's going to make a play for Jess. He's told Jess that he likes her, wants to chat to her, wants to spend time with her. And I was just like, it looked like he had more chat. It was the same chat lines that he had with Harriet. I'm like, don't these people know how to mix it up? Like, seriously, you can't keep playing the tried and true dusty ass chat up lines all the time on different women. It don't work like that. So then a text comes in and everyone has to gather around the fire pit. So I was like, okay, let's see how this plays out. Is somebody going to be leaving tonight? So basically what the text was is that because Mimi and Omar are single, they get to choose to either couple up as a couple or decide to steal someone from another person. So they went and discussed it. Now all I will say is, if Omar and Mimi decide to couple up, that would be the easy way out. We all know Mimi wants Ayo. And she didn't really engage herself with Omar that much. And we all know Omar was already made a beeline for Uma. But then he's also got Patsy, the clinging limpet vine, who wants him too. So he's kind of got two choices. Mimi only has one. So they made their decision. You can basically see the literal scaredness, the worry on Uma's face. Ayo's doing the same face that he made when Mimi walked off to go have a date. It's like he becomes a statue. There's no expression on that man's face. He just does a dead stare. But those two were the only two that were worried. Patsy was kind of thinking, I think she looked kind of confident that, you know what, he might choose me because of the work that I've put in with him right now. And Munvia looked kind of worried too, because if he did pick Patsy, then it would have been Munvia and Uma basically being the single ones, and they could have both, you never know, twists and turns of the table dumped from the island. They turned around and Omar basically said that it was a tough decision. They went back and forth with the options, but basically it was better, the decision that they did make was better for both of them to see what could come of it. So they decided to steal. And I was like, whoa, that was brazy. That was absolutely, everyone was shocked. And I was like, well, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. And I'd already said that I thought that Mimi would choose Ayo and Omar would choose Uma. But that's where the episode ended, and I'll be back in quick succession with the next episode, and we can have a full-on discussion about that too. As I've always said, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm on and doing videos, and I'll be back across your screens very, very soon. Peace out.